Hi guys, this is Breaker, and I thought I'd go ahead and give you guys an introduction to StarCraft 2 in China, one episode at a time, in 10-minute segments with each one. First, I'm going to give you guys the most basic rundown in this episode, starting with basically teams, rosters, media, things of that nature. Just giving you guys again a general layout of the StarCraft 2 scene in China. I did write it in a little notepad here. So here it is. We're just going to go over the leagues, which would include the WCG wildcards. Let's see, the Neo TV Star League. These are the most modern ones that I know of right off the start of my head. And of course the G League. Then we're going to go over the teams and players, the major ones that is, and some media and websites. Things that I can find basically anywhere I can go to that's got information on StarCraft 2. So without further ado, let's get started, I guess, with leagues. Just going to go ahead and show you guys. Hold on just a second. Going to Google, going to open up a new page. As you can see, there's like a plethora of pages I had open to all of this. Let's see. Okay. So first let's get started with the WCG. That one's actually run by Neo TV. Let me see if I can find that. You know what? Here. Okay, that'll actually be on neotv.cn, as you can see here. And there are basically videos on demand for it, but they're basically run in a complete and total loop. And this is basically all the information on it. Let's see, is there an SC2? Yes, there is, yes. In fact, I was the English caster for it. I had an observer position in game for it. It did not take place on the China server because, as you all know, HOTS has not been released in China yet. It has been approved, but it's still pending its release. And so basically here it all is, basically, all of that good stuff. Okay, so now we're going to go on to Neo TV Star League. Yeah, I'm just gonna look for that in Chinese. Okay, let's see here. Oh, replays.net. That's actually really generic. I never would have actually thought. Wow. Okay, yeah. Sorry, this is actually a website that's unrelated to what I'm looking for, but they actually have replays, it looks like, available for the Neo TV Star League. I never would have imagined. Let's see. What the? Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna go straight to the website, and because we were just on it, I do have permission to post around on this website, so here we go. neotv.cn. Of course, let's see if I can find the stream center. Yes, here we go. Okay, so basically, wait, where's the NSL? Come on. The last NSL had actually taken place back in December towards January of this year. Excuse me, last December to January of this year. So basically didn't happen the way I wanted it to. I'm going to try and keep this video under 10 minutes, as I said before. And it looks like they actually took down all the information on neotv.cn about the NeoTV Star League, considering it's relatively dated right now. We're talking 6 months. That was back in Wings of Liberty. Trust me, though, it does exist. It's not simply a pigment of my imagination. And now we are going to go on to the G League before, again, getting into media. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Google, and I'm going to type in G Yansai. Alright, so here we are. This is not the website that actually administers it. It should actually be... Okay, here we go. GameFY.com, which is a mix of Chinese and English to make the website known as yoshifengyun.com. It's taking me a while to load this web page because despite having amazingly fast internet, my school's network is not very tolerant of Chinese websites, the Chinese server for StarCraft, anything to do with basically connecting to China. It's not very fun because believe me, the last thing I want to do is have a godlike internet connection and cause lag in a tournament that I'm supposed to have an observer position for. But here we are. This is the entire website dedicated to the G League, and there should be a roster, not a roster, but instead, hang on. There, okay, let's see. This is for SC2, all the characters that I am typing in here and hitting enter with Control F. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see, just a channel for watching SC2 VODs. And this is, of course, Jim right here, but we'll get back to him later. So there it is, basically the major leagues that we have to worry about. There are a lot of major offline LAN events that take place here and there in between, but for now, these are not the most notable ones. These are ones that are simply noticeable to you and I. We'll get to the lesser known ones in just a few minutes as I pull up the Invictus Gaming website, or excuse me, the Invictus Gaming roster, as well as the records of the players who are participating in it, or excuse me, who belong to the team. So now here we are. We're gonna go ahead and talk about the teams and the players, not talk to them, at least not yet. If you guys want me to, I can actually conduct interviews with some of these players, either via interview, like via, I wouldn't say QQ, like using it like Skype to make a call, because that, honestly, my spoken Chinese really needs work. But let's go ahead and, I guess, go to the Team Liquid page for this. Let's see, we have 3 teams here that are listed that are actually disbanded. That would be Phoenix. This team is disbanded, but I do want to highlight that all of their players were basically, that's what I'm looking for. They were absorbed into Zenith of Origin, also known as Zoo. But there is one player that catches my attention above all else, and he's actually given basically no Wikipedia page. His name is Courage. He's actually beaten one member of the Prime team in a game that I actually had an observer position to. I'm talking about the Asia Starcraft League. But back then that was Wings of Liberty, and it was a ZVP on 2 very large macro maps, one of them being Entombed Valley, and the other one, I forget, I think it was Ohana LE, but that one's not really macro oriented. The thing is, he played his cards right, and he went 2-1 versus Classic Prime. Classic Prime ended up going through the rest of the group and managed to progress onto the round of 32 along with Zoo Courage, excuse me. Let's see. WE is still, I think, largely intact. I've heard that they were disbanded. Let me check and see here. I actually asked some of the guys here, because a good deal of the information that we were looking at on Wikipedia is actually quite dated. Let's see, I'm looking through my QQ records here. Okay. Here we go. Okay, IG, VG, WE, answer SR. Well, let's just go to Loner, since he is their most notable player. He actually went to the GSL in 2011. Here's the handsome guy right there. Let's see. Actually, BlizzCon 2010, StarCraft 2 Invitational. Wasn't that in beta back then? I'm sorry, guys. I didn't actually get started on StarCraft 2 until 2011, so sorry if I sound like a bumbling retard. Yes, Loner managed to maintain his Code A status by defeating PP in the round of 32. Okay. Okay. Outside GSL, there was one main point that I'm looking for, and that is essentially, oh, yeah, anyone want a Chinese girlfriend? No, no, thank you. There we go. Ouch. Well, that's about it. What team does he belong to? World Elite. Okay, well, it's something I heard. I feel that it's outdated information. I do have him on QQ, so I could actually go ahead and pull up the records between me and him asking, but never mind. Okay. So here we go. These are all the basically modern listed players. But again, for every team that disbands, there's a new one that isn't listed here. It's actually known as VG, and I'm going to go ahead and bring that one up. It actually has 2012 WCS China winner iG.Comm in it. It's based out of Hangzhou, and this is their little training house, if you will. It's a nice, comfy little place in Hangzhou, Zhejiang province in China. As you can see, this is what they're working with and everything else in between. And let's also not forget about Invictus Gaming. They are I want to say, the main team for everything esports in China, except for perhaps League of Legends. League of Legends is, of course, headed, I think, by World Elite in China. They have the best LoL roster, I believe, is what I've heard. But it's not, we're not here to talk about League of Legends. We're here to talk about StarCraft 2. They do, of course, have Jim on their roster presently. They also have Shigua, and they also have Max Zed. Now, what is interesting to note about the players who have been on this team, I'm talking about Com, and I'm just going to bring this to you. I'm just going to bring the webcam to my face for a minute. The one thing that is most notable about Com is that he has never been to a GSL, but he's beaten two former GSL competitors from China at the WCS 2012, where he was crowned the champion and then went on to the Battle.net World Championships. But he was knocked out in the round of 32 there. Shigua himself, he's been to the GSL and made it into Code A. So as Max said, I mean, that's just that in itself, I think, is an achievement. Just it's not quite like comparing Idra and Jinro because they've made it into Code S, but I mean Code A is still a huge accomplishment nonetheless. But if we want to go back to our little prodigy, Jim, if you will, he did manage to all kill iG in the Acer Team Story Cup. There's no picture of him right here. He's 17 years old. And again, I want to bring the webcam to my face for just a moment because I I have to stress that he is the most important person in esports right now simply due to the fact that he's 17 years old and he's playing for money in China. Most 17-year-olds in China are actually cramming the books, slamming the books, going to school 12, 14 hours a day, getting ready to take the college entrance exams. Jim just finished high school and that's it. I think he just finished high school like a year ago, and he's basically what we call the rich second generation. He doesn't, his parents don't care what he does with his life because they've already got so much money that they can take care of themselves. It's just, I mean, I don't want to insult his family at all. I'm sure he has a very respectable family nonetheless, but at the same time, I feel that most families who don't care about these kinds of things, what their son or daughter does for a living, are the families that have the wealth to take care of themselves for multitudes of generations at a time. I've been to China before. I've seen these things before. I've lived there for a year. Um, just things like that. But I think that's going to bring us. Hold on. I'm going to go over one more team. I'm making sure I didn't miss anything here. What is this? Okay, here we go. Chinese SC2 scene. What the? Get away from me. That's sexually explicit. That's not safe for the kids. Okay. Now, there is, of course, Spider. They are based out of Taiwan. And we'll get to Taiwan in another iteration of this program, if you will. And I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible because right now there's no way I can go to the Taiwan scene uh, in the near future. So that brings me to this point. Let's go ahead and bring up the Invictus Gaming roster real quick. And this will actually bring me to the point of the smaller lands. I'm going to try and get this off of the players' personal info pages to basically make it a little more acceptable. I don't want to give anyone's personal info away, their QQ numbers, their phone numbers, things of that nature. But here we are. Wait. Oh, I'm looking at IG Edison, and it looks like he actually has some pretty okay performance. If I'm interpreting this correctly, he's actually okay. So this is basically the 178. It's a website. He was the champion of that tournament. He was also, let's see, okay, he was also the champion of the PSTL, which actually had a rather large prize pool. Let me see if I can pull that up here. I don't know. I might have closed it at some point. Here it was. It was like 100,000 Chinese yuan, which is roughly equal to about 15,000 US dollars for an offline event. Here's all the prize money, more or less. If we just add these numbers together, that makes about 90,000 there, and then I can't put the numbers together because it's just too much to read. It really was. It was like they didn't have a TLDR version. Also, not to mention all the characters. Sorry about that. Belching. I just had dinner. Okay, now let's see. Back to this. PSTL third season champion, as well as the second place champion of the PSTL, the second PSTL. I'm not sure who he lost to, but it's not really important right now. ECL 2012, I never actually got a chance to look that up. So yeah, let's just take this to my other screen, and then we're going to go have a look at Shigua and his performance. If I may for just one moment. That is one sexy bastard, isn't he? Come on, guys. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this down to this and just look at this performance. WGT 2010. I'm thinking it means WCG, but no. This is WCG. Ah, great. It's a little confusing, as you can see. WGT China section second place winner, and he was the grand finalist and winner of the WGT 2010. I'm gonna have to look that up later. BlizzCon Chinese district finalist and champion, if you will. That basically means he won first prize at that one. He was the first prize winner of WCG 2011, second prize winner of WCG 2011 World Championships, and let's see, the IPL 5. He was a champion of IPL 5, which reminds me, actually, that was the one that Idra won first place in America. So he actually went to that one and made it to the round of 16. HAD, I'm not sure what that one's all about. And G League 2013 came in second prize. I wouldn't be surprised if he was actually outdone by Max Said or Jim. And this guy's is Max Said. Here we go. He's going to be competing in the Russia Starcraft League on Tuesday if you guys want. If Nathanias is not available to cast that one in Chinese, or excuse me, in English, then I will cast it in English if I'm not already casting it in Chinese. So here we go. WCG 2011. He made it. He made it. I'm not sure what Li Jun means. That might be third prize. Hang on, let me check this out. This is one of the few times that I would actually approve of using Google Translate. Runner up. Okay. And here we go. I'm not sure what this means right here. Like, 施加雅. I've never seen these characters put together in this fashion before, so I can't really put it together. NGF 2012, Stars War 7, WCG 2012, WCG 2012 GES. So if we just take the WCG out of here and the BlizzCon out of here, as well as the G League, then there's like there's like 1, 2, and 3 tournaments that take place yearly that are actually worth mentioning here. And of course, this is XY. He is a present competitor in, what is it I'm looking for? The WCSNA. And oops, there I went over his personal info. Don't give that to anyone. Alright, so here we go. It's all that information. And that's about all I'm going to go over for the roster for now. I'm just going to skip down to Jim. Yes, this is the guy that everybody thinks looks 30. He's actually 17. Here we go. 2011 IEM China District. He qualified is basically what this means right here. Of course, WCG second place winner, and WCG first place winner. No, for finalist runner up, if that makes sense. I think that's like 4th to 8th place, if that makes sense. And 2012 World Championships made it to the round of 8, and G League first place winner. Look at this. This is sick. That means a 17-year-old took down Max Said as well as Shikwa. No, I'm just gonna. I don't know anything about IGT. He's kind of a new guy, I think, and this is his accomplishments, which means presently none. All right, now I'm hoping we're not gonna go too far over time, but now I'm gonna give you guys a quick introduction to, say, the streaming media that they use. The websites we've already given you an introduction to, but basically, this is why nobody uses Twitch.tv in China. I'm gonna get to this real quick. This is gonna be really brief, okay? Now, the whole reason why nobody uses Twitch.tv in China is because of international firewalling. I'm going to leave politics out of this as much as possible. But of course, it's international firewalling, and it basically means they have to do double, triple loops between the website's server and then Beijing, and then back to the city that they live in China, and then back to the city or back to the capital in Beijing, and then back to the website here in America. So yeah, yes, there is a server located in Singapore, I believe, for Twitch.tv, but I think that's for streaming. Wuhan presently has the strongest internet in all of China. It's where the Invictus Gaming training house is located. That means you'll find Shigua, Maxet, and Jim there. And as long as we're on topic of IG, I just wanted to give them a huge shout out and say, hey guys, congratulations! You now have 3 competitors that have made it into the WCSNA Season 2 Premier League. So I mean, there it is. There's 3 Chinese players that have a chance to go to New York if they actually make it to the round of 16. Exciting stuff, guys. Anywho, let's get back to what I was going to talk to you guys about right now. So this is basically this is the live streaming media, the mainstream website that people go to stream in China, fengyunzhibo.com. Now I'm going to go ahead and type in SC2. I don't think it's going to give me anything because of course that's not in Chinese, but oh, it looks like I'm wrong. So here we go. These are all streams. These are, right now, this says that I'm searching for all the channels that stream SC2. Now I'm going to go to the ones that are just presently streaming SC2. Now the Neo TV one, it's always going. It's on a constant loop. The casters are not actually there right now behind that desk talking about what's going on. And this is a little bit of an annoying intro that gives me all the time. There are only 38 people watching, of course, because this is a constantly looped, what's the word I'm looking for, video on demand. And of course, you're going to hear Xiao Se and MS Joy. These guys are 2 famous casters. And as long as we're on the topic of casters, there's also another guy by the name of Hao Dan. There's also Old Man F91. We call him Old Man. Actually, his name is Old Boy F91. We call him Old Boy.
但是我们也看到一个韩国的人质选手的韧性，击进2-1，郭明和。
Sorry about that. That's actually the volume control is a little bit loud, but this is what they're doing now is called the Kung Fu Cup. Gumiho versus I'm trying to think. I think it was Comm. Gumiho versus Comm. So it's a ZVT. Commitment is his full name. That's why they call him Comm. But for the G League, like the major casters that I know of are basically players and casters. There's Xiaosa and MS Joy. Xiaosa is a Masters League random Zerg on the Korean ladder, even though he's in China. And there's anywhere from 7 to 10 GM level players on the Korean server that are actually Chinese by citizenship and nationality. So I think that about does it for today's episode. One thing that I want to leave you guys with right now is, hang on. Basically, episode 2, I'm going to be talking a little bit more and more about the Taiwan scene. This one will be much more brief than what's happening now. Episode 3, well, make a suggestion as to what I should do for episode 3 for intro to the Chinese Starcraft scene. And I will do whatever you guys want, be it an interview with a particular player that you guys want to do, or say perhaps, you know, a particular casting figure, in fact. That would be not so bad, right? As long as it is not too politically deep or too politically provocative, I will do my best, because the last thing that I want to do is actually stream something that's going to make a significant deal of my fan base angry. And by the way, this is also why, sorry, as long as we're on the topic of websites, I'm going to go to this real quick. This is my own Weibo, which is basically Chinese. Oh, great, that's just great. No, that's not what I want. You know I don't need to log in. Whatever. Okay, so here we go. Hang on. Okay, so let's see if I can log in this way. It's gonna take a while because, of course, we're talking about me connecting to a Chinese server. Here we go. So as you can see, this is my Weibo. This is basically Chinese Twitter, and I'm far more popular than this. I'm far more popular on this website than I am on Western Twitter, if you will. And see, I've even got 2 new fans. So that's basically all I've got for now. I'll see you guys next time. And again, do not forget the suggestion. Give me something to make an episode on, if that makes sense. That's what I want to know from you guys. What do you guys want to know the most about the China scene? Thanks for watching, guys. This is Breaker. I'll see you guys next time.